Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101. Browns NFL early late games postgame show. We'll have a Sunday night update show as well. I'm sorry I didn't get to do a pregame show uh, this week. I am sorry, but you will get one next week. We'll go over the Browns game and all of today's NFL actions in just a moment. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101. Browns NFL Week 9 trivia question. It is a Browns trivia question. Going into 2008, what Cleveland Browns receiver led the NFL with a 32.8 yard kickoff return average? I will have the answer later in the podcast. Well, the frustration woes for the Browns continue. Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers only needed to be half as good to beat the Browns. Herbert capitalized on two communication breakdowns by Cleveland's secondary to throw two touchdown passes on down passes in the first half, and the Chargers defense clamped down on Jameis Winston in a 27-10 victory Sunday over the mistake-prone Cleveland Browns. Herbert passed for 250 of his 282 yards in the opening half as the Chargers, who are now 5-3, built a 17-point halftime lead and rolled their fifth straight win over Cleveland as the Browns now fall to 2-7 on the season. Whenever everyone is on the same page, we're able to do the things like that and push the ball down the field. Set Herbert, who overcame being sacked 6 times. We made a big step in the first half and took a good step forward as an offense. Herbert connected on a 66-yard TD pass to Quentin Johnson and a 27-yarder to Joshua Palmer as the Chargers took advantage of the Browns' communication problems. You can put it all on me, said Browns cornerback Denzel Ward, who was involved in both plays that were gimmies. J.K. Dobbins had 2 rushing touchdowns for Los Angeles. Herbert finished 18 of 27 carries and attempts and really didn't have to do much in the second half as the Los Angeles defense, which came allowing 13 points per game, intercepted Winston 3 times and never let the Browns gain any momentum. Winston was sacked 6 times, 2.5 by linebacker Tulai Tapuletiu, and the Chargers limited the Browns to just 57 yards in the first 30 minutes. Rookie cornerback Tarheeb Still, Elijah Molden, and Aloha Gilman had picks. We just go out there and chase perfection as much as possible, and Still, who deflected Winston's pass in the end zone that Molden intercepted, that Molden intercepted. We are not going to be perfect, but we can get pretty close to it. Playing with a comfortable lead, Herbert essentially became game manager in the second half as the Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh leaned on his running game to put away the Browns, something his brother, Baltimore coach John Harbaugh, couldn't do last week in its 29-24 loss to Cleveland. Afterward, Harbaugh spent most of his post-game news conference reflecting on his deep connection to Ohio, where he spent much of his childhood. Instead of detailing how easily his Chargers dismantled the Browns, I got a little nostalgic today. I got a little nostalgic today. Excuse me, before kickoff. That doesn't normally happen, but today it just hit me. Said Harbaugh mentioning that his parents were married in Cleveland and went to a Browns game on their honeymoon. Uh, and basically, the frustrating woes for the Browns continue. And they spent a night. They spent the night in a hotel, then walked down to the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Harbaugh said Art Modell, he owned the team and gave the high school football coaches free tickets. My dad got them. The roots are deep in Ohio for the Harbaugh family. Both Herbert's, both of Herbert's TD passes, were the result of communication breakdowns by Cleveland's secondary. On the first, Palmer got free down the right sideline for an easy TD. The second came when Johnston got behind Ward, who seemed to think he was getting deep help from safety Jawan Thornhill. We've got to have all 11 guys on the same page, said Thornhill, who didn't Ward to take the blame, said we couldn't communicate well at all. Our defensive end Myles Garrett, who was the lone bright spot for the Browns, getting 3 sacks in a 4-play span in the first half. What a great player, number 95. My gosh, Harbaugh said of Garrett. He's so good. The Browns spent much of the week talking about renewed hope after Winston replaced the injured Deshaun Watson last week, and 3 TD passes for 334 yards as the Browns stunned the Ravens. There was no such magic this week for Winston, who was off target and ineffective, and did throw a 17-yard TD pass to Cedric Tillman in the final minute. But as they say in the fourth quarter in the final minute, that one TD pass he threw was garbage. Because it didn't matter because the Browns were not going to get the win, to say the least. We have to eliminate the plays that hurt us, Winston said. I had 3 of them. Herbert's 27-yard scoring pass to Palmer was set up by a 53-yard punt return from Darius Davis to Cleveland's 30. There has been some trade talk. There continues to be rumors and rumblings that the Browns would deal defensive end Zadarius Smith to the Detroit Lions ahead of Tuesday's trade deadline. Smith signed a 2-year contract with Cleveland in March. The Lions have been looking for another edge rusher after recently losing star end Aiden Hutchinson with a broken leg. After the game, Smith acted surprised when he was told about a report that he'll be traded in the next 24 hours. Oh, that happened? Smith said to reporters, see y'all. There were some injuries. Chargers linebacker Junior Colson went out with an ankle injury in the second quarter and didn't return. Cornerback Jasir Taylor had a fibula injury and didn't play in the second half. Wide receiver Simi Feheko walked in the locker room in the fourth quarter holding his right arm. For the Browns, left tackle DeJuan Jones, who made his second straight start over Jedrick Wills Jr., went to the locker room in the fourth quarter with a shoulder injury but returned. So, up next week, the Chargers host the Tennessee Titans at home at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California on November 10th. The first of 3 straight home games for them. The Browns are on a bye week this next week, but the following Sunday on November 10th, They are in New Orleans to take on the Saints, and I think that could be a winnable game for the Browns because I think they're going to want to win after losing this today's game to the Chargers and not looking good at all, not even showing up. So this is good that they're on a bye week because they need something to get ready for New Orleans. And unfortunately, I didn't want to have to do it, but I have got to give the game balls to the Chargers. Unfortunately, I got to give them to them. Uh, uh, Justin Herbert, 18 of 27 carries and attempts, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. J.K. Dobbins, 14 attempts, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Quentin Johnson, 4 receptions, 118 yards, 1 touchdown. But I'll tell you what the Browns, the three that did contribute. Jameis Winston, 26 of 46, carries and attempts for 235 yards. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions today, unfortunately. Nick Chubb, 15 attempts, 39 yards. Cedric Tillman, 6 receptions, 75 yards, and 1 touchdown. So, Browns 4-2-7. The Chargers are 5-3. So, we'll go over all of today's action in just a moment. But right now, it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Browns and NFL Week 9 trivia question, and is a Browns trivia question. Going into 2008, what Cleveland Browns receiver led the NFL with a 32.8 yard kickoff return average? If you said Joshua Cribbs, you are correct. Joshua Cribbs led the NFL in 2008 with a 32.88 yard kickoff average. His exceptional average made him a standout player in terms of kickoff returns that season. And I'll have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. All right, now we're going to go over all of today's NFL action, and then we'll do the Sunday night game pregame show, update show, excuse me. The Atlanta Falcons beat the Dallas Cowboys, who fall to 3-5 on the season. Atlanta goes to 6-3, 27-21 today at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I give the game balls to Kirk Cousins and the Lions. And I took the Browns and lost, and so did my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle. He took them and lost as well. So we'll do this and picks of the week. And I lost with the Thursday night game, the Jets and Houston. We both lost on that one, my brother-in-law and I. And I took Atlanta, and so did my brother-in-law. We both won on that one. So, the Baltimore Ravens manhandled the Denver Broncos 41-10 today at M&T Bank Stadium. Denver struggled offensively and defensively. I took Baltimore, and so did my brother-in-law. We both won on that one. The Miami Dolphins, in a thriller in the final minute, the Bills beat the Dolphins by 3, 30-27 today at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. I took the Bills and won. And my brother-in-law, he took the Dolphins, and he lost on it. Well, that was one we didn't agree on. The Carolina Panthers upset the New Orleans Saints at Bank of America Stadium in North Carolina in Charlotte today, 22-23. And I took on New Orleans and lost. So did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. We both lost on that one. The Cincinnati Bengals beat the Las Vegas Raiders, at Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati, 41-24 today at Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati. As I said, I took I took the Bengals in one, and so did my brother-in-law. We both won on that one. Both lost on the Browns game. You already know that. And now I'm writing out the early games. The Tennessee Titans and New England Patriots went overtime, tied at 17, and Tennessee scored, and they beat they rallied and they beat the New England Patriots in overtime, 20-17. I took New England, and I lost on that one. My brother-in-law took the Titans and won. That's two we didn't agree on. The Arizona Cardinals whopped the Chicago Bears 29-9 today at State Farm Stadium in Arizona. And I took the Cardinals and won, and so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Jacksonville Jaguars at Lincoln Financial Stadium in Philly, 28-23. Jacksonville had a chance, but they couldn't do it, and I took Philly and won. My brother-in-law took the Jaguars and lost. That's a third one we didn't agree on. The Detroit Lions beat the Green Bay Packers, 24-14, and today at legendary Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Green Bay they struggled, but they were limited to just 14 points today, 2 touchdowns. And I took Detroit and won. So did my brother-in-law. We both took Detroit. And rounding out the 4 o'clock games, the Seahawks tied it to send in the overtime, 20-20, and in overtime, the Rams score a game-winning touchdown to win it in overtime, 26-20. I took the Rams and won. My brother-in-law took the Seahawks and lost. So we have 4, and we have one more that we don't agree on. That's tomorrow night's Monday night game between the Buccaneers and Chiefs. So we have 5 that we don't agree on. And so, and right now it's Sunday Night Football. The update show. I'm going to update you right now. It's right 7-0 with 2 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Colts lead 4th and 18 at the Minnesota 35. And the Colts have the ball. And we both had Minnesota in this one, so we'll see if Minnesota can score before halftime and tie this thing up. So right now, I'm going to let you know what has gone on this first half. First quarter, the Colts had a fumble. First and 10 at the Minnesota 26. Joe Flacco fumbles at the Minnesota 30, touched at Minnesota 25, recovered by Smith at the Minnesota 24. And then the Vikings had an interception. Sam Darnold, it was a 33 at the Indianapolis 16. Sam Darnold passed deep left intended for T.J. Hotkinson by Franklin at the Indianapolis 2 for a touchback. And then the Colts had punt after going 3 and out, 4 plays, 17 yards. And the Vikings had the punt after going 3 and out, 6 plays, 32 yards. And then the Colts had the punt again after going 3 and out, 3 plays, 5 yards. Scoreless at the end of the first quarter. And then Minnesota had a fumble. Sam Darnold set at the Minnesota 44 for -9 yards. Fumbles and touched at the Minnesota, recovered by Indianapolis's Moore at the Minnesota 38 for a 38-yard touchdown. And the extra point was not good, and it was 6-0 Colts. Yes, it was good. It was 6-0 Colts. And Minnesota tried to get into the end zone. They couldn't do it. And Sam Darnold had a pass that fell incomplete at 3rd and 3 at the Indianapolis 35 to short right to Justin Jefferson for no gain. And then they got to 4 and 3 at the Indianapolis 35. They got in the field goal range, but it was missed. Richard, 53-yard field goal is no good with wide right. And so the field goal was no good. And then Indianapolis had a missed field goal. It was 4th and 18 at the Minneapolis 35. Gay's 53-yard field goal is no good. No good. It went wide left. Center Rhodes, holder Sanchez. So, and right now on the current drive, it was the 1st and 10 at the Indianapolis 35. Sam Darnold pass incomplete. Short left, no gain. The 1st and 10 at the Minnesota 43. Sam Darnold pass deep middle to Justin Jefferson to the Indianapolis 35 for 22 yards. And that's where we currently stand. And there's a minute 23 to go till halftime. 2nd and 10 at the Indianapolis 11. And now it's the Vikings have the ball. So hopefully we'll see if the Vikings can tie this thing up before they go to halftime. So, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101. Browns NFL early late games post-game show, Sunday Night Football update show. I'll be back with the Sunday Night Football post-game show once the game between the Indianapolis Colts and the Minnesota Vikings has concluded. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.